Today we're taking a look at my top 10 favorite custom cosmetics in ARK Survival Ascended. We all know by now that there is a ton of different custom cosmetics available for building, and there's more and more to choose from for all sorts of different styles depending on what you like, from very modern to even futuristic, but of course also the medieval, Viking, Greek skins, you name it. There is a bunch of different options to choose from, so sometimes it can be really hard to decide which ones are worth installing, and in the case of premium ones, which ones are worth getting and paying for. Luckily, I do a bunch of building and I test a lot of different cosmetics for all the different builds that I do. So in today's videos, we're going to take a look at some of my favorite custom cosmetics. Hello there survivors, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're doing something very different here in ARK Survival Ascended, and believe me, this was a very difficult one to make because limiting myself to only 10 cosmetics was actually surprisingly challenging. So there's definitely even more cosmetics that I quite like using, and since there's probably many more awesome cosmetics on the way this year, I'm sure this list will keep changing. So do let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see these types of videos more often, where I take a look at some of the coolest cosmetics out there. For today's video, I've selected 10 different custom cosmetics, and to make sure that it is nicely balanced, we've got 5 free custom cosmetics and 5 premium ones that are definitely worth getting. I really like all of these on the list, and if you can't get them right now, it at least might be worth to have on your wish list for whenever there's another sale. So please leave your feedback for this type of video down in the comments below, and let me know if you'd like to see more. And of course, as always, feel free to leave build suggestions or cosmetics that you'd like to see me do builds with down in the comments below too. This list is in no particular order. We'll start with the free cosmetics and then we'll go to the 5 premium ones. One of my new favorite custom cosmetics for modern builds is definitely the seamless walls, which seem very simple in essence because it's basically this one texture that you get. It's just a white wall. But the good thing about this skin is that it can be applied to pretty much every structure. So that means that no matter how creative you want to be with the structures that you combine, you can all make them match in the same material, which is very useful if you want to do some modern and creative designs and creative shapes, because very often with some cosmetics you'll run into some limitations with what is available as a skin and in the same texture, because sometimes like slope walls or the shallow slope walls are either not available or are slightly different textures or different details going on, and in some cases that could be great, but in many cases, and especially for sleek modern builds, that could be bad because you kind of want that aesthetic to go through the entire build. And since I've discovered this has quickly become my go-to skin for any modern design, because it really is just a very nice looking skin. You can blend everything together very nicely with the rounded edges that it creates, but also it works very well with paint. So even if you want something different than these white walls, you can still do that using the exact same skin. And for example, here in this base where I used it, I think for the first time, you can really see all those nice rounded edges that we have. You can see how nicely everything blends together. Even if you have different structures combined, it just kind of blends in. And yeah, you don't really see where one structure ends and the other begins, which really creates some very nice and cool looking shapes, which is perfect for these types of modern builds, as you can clearly see. So this is the one you're looking for, the LF Structure Skin Seamless Wall. A very useful custom cosmetics for your modern base builds is Arkitect's Paradise. And the name already suggests it, but this is really a paradise for builders because there's a lot of different cosmetics and textures available here. And as far as I've seen, they work for pretty much every structure, which is very useful if you're doing some modern builds. And especially the glass texture is very useful in my opinion. It works on everything, so no matter the shape of your window, you'll be able to skin it, as well as it will work on normal doors, but also on tech gates, tech cellar doors, and tech doors, including the animations that they have, which is really cool. So we've got my modern A-frame tech base here on Lost Colony, as you can see, and here you can see some beautiful windows in general. This is actually a tech cellar door with the animation, which is really nice that you can have that in the same glass pattern. Now there's also some gates that have that same animation going on. So over here, this is also that same glass that will open up, which is just really nice and clean, and can make you do some more creative things with your windows and still have your entrances and your doors in there. I think we have some more tech doors here to the side, which is quite nice. And you can see we have all the different shapes, including the slopes, walls, and everything. So it is a very versatile glass texture, but of course there's much more. The wood that we've used here is also from Arkitect's Paradise, which is really nice. And then we got the floor here, which is some granite textures that the same skin offers. And then the rubber floors inside is also from Architecture's Paradise. So there is a bunch of different things and skins included in this one, and it is a free one, so definitely one that can be very useful for a bunch of different builds. And you're looking for this one, Architect's Paradise. This is the one. It has a bunch of options, as you can see, so this is the one you want to download. And the cosmetic we definitely can't forget about is the Astraeos custom cosmetic. Another really good one, especially of course if you're planning on playing Astraeos, which you definitely should. And this fits the theme of the map perfectly. You can do so much cool building with this, from Greek temples to Greek villas to many really cool designs with all of the different structure options, the cool statues that it offers as well. They are really nice, as you can see, and there's a bunch of different variants from the Astraeos Structures that you can pick from that are really nice. They actually got updates as well. I actually still need to dive into some new builds with all of the updates that have been done, but there's more and more to this cosmetic. It gets frequent updates. You've got really cool skins for all of your utilities. The campfire here, the cryo fridge recently added, one of my favorite, adds a little phoenix in a nice cage, so that can be your cryo fridge. But also for some of the bigger structures, like the tech replicator, looks like a super cool eagle statue with the world at your feet, which is perfect if you want to fit those bigger structures into your base, because as you can see, this will definitely fit your Astraeos build. But also some of the other things, like a tribe tower, as you can see over there. There's actually 3 different variants for the tribe tower. And even a transmitter gets its own nice skin. So basically almost your entire base now, more and more at least of it, you can completely transform into the Astraeos look. And as you can tell by the fact that I've actually built a whole little town here, I really love working in this style. So of course this has to be on the list, and it's absolutely free, which is insane for the amount that you get here. There's so much in there. Still gets frequent updates with new textures to use, new utilities mostly that are being added. So definitely a really cool skin to work with and to do some really cool builds with that fit this map perfectly. And then of course Astraeos, well, we all know the name by now. The map, you want to go for this one, the custom cosmetics, so you get all the structures. Be aware there is also of course the skins for your armor and stuff. So yeah, structures is the one you want. So these are some of the modern structure skins, which is a really cool skin pack if you like to do modern builds. It's definitely a really nice one with some clean aesthetics, with both matte white structures, matte black structures, and a bunch of wooden textures and different textures in there that you can definitely utilize for some of your most modern base design, as you can see by the one that I've done here on Astraeos. But there's definitely a few others that I've used this for, especially also for some of the details. It also has some really cool thin beam skins. You might have seen those in some of my builds. That's actually from this custom cosmetic, which is a great little detail to add even if you build out of a different skin. So definitely a good basis to have for modern modern builds, because as you can see, there's some really nice clean textures here with the matte black. Even some of the marble skins that you can get too, they are quite nice. This wooden texture that I have here on the walls, but usually I have it on the floors, I like a lot. So definitely one that is worthy of getting, since it's a free cosmetic, so it's easy to try out. The only real downside I think that this cosmetic has is that the roofs look kind of just like the wooden textures, but then made white or black or whatever texture that you're using, and in some cases you can kind of see little lines between the textures. But other than that, it's a really nice cosmetic and definitely worth getting if you're into doing some modern builds. And of course, a lot of these modern custom cosmetics can actually be combined very well to take the best from each of them to make the best base for you. So there we go, this is it, the modern structure skins, that's the one you're looking for. A bunch of options in this one as well, and of course especially really useful for all of your modern themed builds. Another really cool and unique custom cosmetic are the Chinese structure skins, and you can definitely apply these to buildings. I haven't really done that myself too much yet, except for some build pieces in, for example, my Chinese starter base on Lost Colony. But if we take a closer look here, this gateway, this is a gate skin that it offers, which is a really cool texture, of course, and definitely helps when you're doing some world building. Then you can already see some fireworks in the background, which is also part of that Chinese structure skin. The most impressive skins, I think, are the ones for the tech lights. As you can see, these lanterns actually swing back and forth, and there is a bunch of variants for these as well. So you have a bunch of different lanterns all moving back and forth, which is just a really cool little detail to add to your base to bring it to life more. There's floating lanterns. Chickaman used this actually on a recent build challenge that I hosted, and there you can really see how much life it can bring to a build. It's one that you can definitely combine very well with Golden Dynasty, which will be on the list for the premium cosmetics. And yeah, this offers a lot of decorations options, a lot of options that are hidden in all of the skins, so you definitely want to check it out and try it on as much of the things as possible, and try all the different skins on all the different pieces, just in case that you discover something really cool and hidden somewhere in the skin. But yeah, if you like these types of builds, these styles of building, then the Chinese structure skin is definitely one worthy of checking out. And then this is the one you're looking for. So yeah, you want to get this one. And as I said, there is a bunch of things hidden in this one, so you'll have a lot of fun exploring all of the options to find all of the little secrets, especially all of the decoration options. And probably the best cosmetic to go for any of your medieval builds is, of course, the Castlecraft structure skin, which offers you full range of everything that you need for your medieval builds, from settler tier with very nice wood textures for your wooden buildings, of course a village tier that actually gives you some really nice structures with those iconic white walls, and of course the castle tier for your castle structures, the battlements and everything you need to make a proper looking castle with nice gates and beautiful stained glass windows. And that's not all, it also offers a bunch of utility skins already and a lot of deco options. As you can see over here, we've got some lovely statues, so if you want to build a proper castle, definitely the way to go. I really like some of the arches it creates, and of course these statues that you can have. But yeah, you can see the different tiers here. This is a little bit of the settler tier, which definitely looks very, very nice. We have, of course, the battlements, which is really useful for any castle build projects. Again, the arches of the dino gates are really nice. The roofs and the options that it gives you to add these additional little details. Then we have some of the village tier over here, creating some nice white walls. And of course, the best things happen when you combine all of that together. You get some really cool things. The statues bring it so much to life. And then, as I said, the utilities as well. This is a teleporter skin with some really cool statues. It's got a water tank over here. There is so much more. And as you can see here, you really feel like you're transformed into a proper castle with many cool structures to explore. So yeah, definitely for all of your medieval and castle needs, this is probably the one to go for if you're limited to custom cosmetics, because you can do some really cool things with this skin for your medieval projects. So yeah, definitely one to go for, and of course also one that you can really combine very well with different projects, because the statues can always be useful. Some of the textures, especially for the ground and stuff, can be very useful for other projects too. But yeah, definitely one that I've had a lot of fun working with and making some different themed builds with. And this is the one that you want to get, the Castlecraft Structure skins. There's a bunch of different Castlecraft cosmetics and mods, so make sure you get the right one. And definitely another one of my favorite custom cosmetics are the bunker structures, because there's just something about this aesthetic that feels very fitting for ARK. And of course, this is especially useful if you want to do some Jurassic Park inspired builds too, because especially for the visitor center, but also for the raptor paddock and stuff like that, these are some of the most perfect cosmetics you could wish for to get very close to the aesthetics from the movies. In fact, when I did my Jurassic Park event for my community, this was one of the most used cosmetics for all of the builds inspired by that franchise. And I've done a fair few builds with this one. I've done the visitor center from Jurassic Park. We've got the raptor paddock. We've got a satellite tower based on the radio towers from the movie franchise. And of course, I've got my ultimate bunker base that I built on Ragnarok, which still is one of my favorite ever builds, and it's one of the main bases that I use on my community cluster. And it is an absolute awesome base with lots of little things that are only possible because of these textures. Of course, there's a lot of other cosmetics that I've used to blend it in. I mean, we have some cozy cabin grass here, but yeah, the aesthetic of the bunker I just like a lot, and especially if you get a cool setting for it like this, the cave definitely works very well for this. The Jurassic Park builds at the same time also work very well. But yeah, it's just a really cool aesthetic, lots of clean concrete textures, but also a lot of window options available. And yeah, just a very nice one to use, whether you go for the Jurassic Park inspired builds or you just want to build a proper bunker in a cave like I did. This aesthetic is definitely one that is very, very nice. And I will definitely be doing many more builds using this one for sure. There we go. This is the one you want to download, the bunker structure skins. Again, some recognizable builds in here, but yeah, this is the one that you want. Then we have Golden Dynasty, which definitely is a really cool custom cosmetic. I worked with this for the mod launch to get this build done, and it's still one of my favorite ones to use. Of course, perfect if you want to do those Asian fantasy types of builds, or you just want to build your own little Japanese castle, or many different types of things that you could do with this one. Of course, pagodas, etc. And the good thing about this is that it offers a ton of different options, from the golden pagoda set to the normal pagoda set. It's very well paintable, so you get a lot of freedom to use this, and there's a ton of different utilities available to be skinned. As you can see, we have the steam forge here, which looks amazing. We have the tech transmitter here in the middle. We have the tech replicator here off to the side. We have the normal industrial forge here. So yeah, a lot of the structures and more of the structures are getting their own versions, which is really, really cool. And the builds themselves, I really like working in this style. I always have, so it's really nice to work with this cosmetic to transform those builds to something much closer than what you can just do with the vanilla pieces. So yeah, definitely worth getting if you like these types of builds. But some of the wood textures I even combine into different builds and use for builds that are definitely not, that's nowhere near this Eastern fantasy style. There we go. This is the one you're looking for. Golden Dynasty. Very recognizable build right there. So yeah, this is the one you want to download. Then there's the Viking Builders Custom Cosmetic. Another really cool one. And of course, very fitting for both Ragnarok as well as Valgero, in my opinion. And is a perfect choice if you want to go for the Viking builds and want to bring them to the next level, with a bunch of cool structure skins, transforming the base game textures into something much more rustic and fitting for your Viking builds, with really nice wood textures, very nice thatch and primitive roofs, as well as some really cool wooden and stone roofs that really make you feel like you're in a Viking village. And this is all made even better with the amount of decorations that you get, as well as all of the skins for some of the utilities that are available. Viking Builders is another skin that I worked with for launch, and as you can see, it offers a lot of cool things. It has all of the decoration options that you might want. Look at the netting, the statues, the bones, etc. Really helps you to transform your builds into something worthy of a Viking village. And there's so many little decoration options to choose from that you can really go all out. So definitely, if you want to do some Viking builds, and you can definitely do some proper Viking builds with this one. But even for some different styles on Valgero, of course, I did a lot of Rowan themed builds, and then also used these Viking Builders cosmetics because it fits in perfectly and it has some really nice and detailed textures. If you want to bring the longhouse from Assassin's Creed Valhalla into ARK, you can. You got a giant base looking awesome, and the best thing, of course, is the thatch-like structures that you can get without needing to use thatch, so you can make your base a little bit stronger and still make it look like a proper little Viking thatch roofed house. But yeah, as you can see, lots of cool decorative options in there as well, utilities that you can skin to fit the Viking vibes, and just very nice and detailed textures in general. So if you want to go for that Viking themed base, definitely one to keep your eyes out on, as it is a really fun one to work with. There we go. This is the one you want, the MSVV Premium Viking Builder skins, and it has a bunch of cool options, as we saw. So yeah, this is the one you want to download. Then there's Cozy Cabins, and this can definitely help you transform your log cabins to the next level. But I also really like using this cosmetic even for builds that are not cabins at all, because one of my favorite things from this cosmetic is actually the grass textures that you get, which are very useful for most builds if you just want to create some little garden patches in there, which is really nice with this grass texture. But you can also, of course, take it a step further and go for a full-on hobbit hole house. But definitely not to be underestimated, and I probably should do a proper log cabin using this cosmetic at some point. I have used it here in my boathouse on Ragnarok, where I kind of combined it a little bit with the Frontier skin. But you can see some of the really nice wood textures here and the cool detailed options that are available to transform your log cabins into something definitely worthy of the name Cozy. But as I said, it's also very useful for a hobbit hole build because of these lovely grass textures that you can get with this skin, which really helps transform, well, your whole build into a hobbit hole, into a nice hill. But even if you just want to add a little garden to your base, these textures are very nice to use. And some of the other textures that it has, like the little stone with the wooden details and all of the different little options in the wooden textures that you get, are very high quality. So definitely a very cozy addition to your base, whether you go for the log cabin or you just want to add some greenery to your life. There we go. This is the one that you want to get, the Cozy Cabins Premium Structure Skin Set. As we've seen, that has a bunch of cool options for cabins, but also especially the grass texture is amazing. So yeah, this is the one. And there we go. Those are my 10 favorite custom cosmetics for building in Ark Survival Ascended. It was a very hard task to get only 10 on this list. So as I said before, if you want to see more of these videos where I showcase a bunch of different custom cosmetics and what you could do with them in your builds, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, of course, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you again in the next video or the next stream. For now, goodbye.